So if I were to launch two pods or two containers in a Linux environment, let me just draw the two squares right here. I want these two containers to have degrees of isolation between them. And these layers of isolation are actually numbered 1 through 7. I want to go through every one of these isolation barriers with you and have you understand which ones we kind of like and which ones we would like to knock down. Let's start with the very first one right here, the C group. This is a namespace that actually defines, well, let's say it's called control group isolation, and it defines how much CPU time, memory, and network bandwidth a given container is allowed to hog up. I choose the word hog up because the idea is to stop that. I don't want one container to be able to hog all the resources, because let's admit it, these containers are all sharing common resources. I want to be able to control that. And you know what? I don't want to give up that. I want to maintain that, so that particular level of isolation needs to remain. Let's take a look at the second namespace here. This is inter-process communications. Inter-process communications means simply this. If I launch a container, and I put two processes inside of there, which theoretically we're not supposed to do in a Docker container, and I want to actually share information back and forth between those processes, because when I do inter-process communications, it's blazing fast, and I can't resist myself, then that's great. But wait a minute, what if I have two containers, which is what you kind of have if you're building a microservice perhaps, and I want the two, I want to do inter-process communications between them. No, can't do that. I said, well then, can I come up with a new container that puts these little containers in and basically knock that barrier down? The answer is, well, yeah, if you do, you're 1/3 of the way towards a pod, and I'll show you exactly how to do that, because I want to allow inter-process communications. Let's continue. Namespace number 3 is network namespace. It would really be nice if I had this common pod like this, and if I launched my individual containers inside, or let's say 3 of them, if I were to bring a virtual Ethernet connection into this point, I would like it if all those containers could see that. Well, you're not going to get that with classic containers. Containers, the point is that if I'm going to do that and I draw my 3 containers up here, then I could have my virtual Ethernet switch, and I would have to run separate virtual Ethernet cables into the Docker bridge. I don't want that. I want all of these to share the same. So looks like we're going to have to knock down that particular barrier right there, and I'll show you how we do that. The next namespace is the mount point. That means that I would like to be able to control secrets mounts, config map mounts, even volume mounts, and I would like to maintain isolation between them. This is a barrier we want to keep. The process IDs, yeah, if I run a process over here on container A, I don't want container B to see that process. Kind of like that one, let's keep that in place. And users, if I create users in container A, I don't want those users to somehow have some sort of access in container B. I'm okay with doing the user thing all over again on a container by container basis. But this last, but not least, this last item right here, this host name and network information system name. So NIS is sort of a lightweight DNS that Sun came up with years ago, that basically is a local area network kind of a thing. That's a barrier I want to knock down. I would like it if the containers that I'm putting inside of a pod could all share the same host name, and therefore could all be referenced using the same NIS domain name as well. So let's see how that's actually done practically by our friends here at Google in the process of converting containers into a pod.
This video is brought to you by Alta3 Research. We offer training solutions both on-site and online so that you can choose the method that works best for you. If you like this video, check out the links in the description box below for more information on our course offerings. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to see more videos like this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.